So we're now about at the end of October, just a couple days away, and I'm seeing a lot of these questions pop up again, and I think this is the perfect time to have this type of discussion. How high can ADA still reach here in 2025 with 2 months left? And I want to show you guys some of the data historically speaking. Want to talk about some things that were present then, some things that are present now. Will we repeat what we did years ago during the last bull market cycle, or are we going to have a similar finish to what we saw actually in late 2024? So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So right now, just for some context, ADA's at 66.18. And I would say that, this year alone for crypto in general has been pretty depressing. And understand that I've seen a lot of people, try to say bad things about ADA. ADA's been doing what everything else is doing. That's the thing that you need to understand. Right now, we've been stuck in just this big ball of garbage that has been 2025. Most of this year has been dominated with these big, scary headlines like big tariffs and black swan events and a lot of the macro concerns, right? The things that we've been hearing now for a very long time have still been very present throughout most of this year. I want to remind everybody that this most recent drop that we went on was because of tariff information, right? Because of tariff news. And I think we'll eventually get to a point where we're past that, but the fear mongering has definitely dominated the news cycle, and that has obviously caused prices to be absolute garbage this year. Now, that being said, fundamentals have continued to grow throughout the crypto market. We have seen ADA holders on the rise. We've seen exchange supply continue to drop. And frankly, right now, I don't care what the price is, because this fundamental setup that we're seeing for ADA and other assets in the market is exactly what you need to see when we talk about some of these rip-roaring runs that we're waiting for. Now, I took the time to look at some of the ADA data here in the past, and I wish this was a lot larger, but I'm sorry if it's so small and you guys can't read this. But what we've looked at here, historically speaking, is that ADA is not the greatest December and November performer. Just looking back at this, November of 2018 was a red month, 19 a red month, 20 a green month, 21, 22 red months. Now, luckily, 2023 and 2024 have been rewarding for ADA, and that's good. And maybe that's more of a sign of what we'll see. And obviously, from 2022 into 23 into 24, we've seen major advancements. We've seen new adoption when it comes to Cardano. It's been obviously mentioned in the strategic. Actually, that wasn't even a thing at that point. But you guys get the point. We've been having bigger, louder news. In fact, over these last 2 years, as we started to get into more bullish times, we've only had one bearish month between those four, and that was December of 2024, and that was actually after we came off of a 215% rally just in the month of November alone. Now, that being said, looking at the average of these, what we've seen on a historic average is that November has yielded 34.24% increase, and December has yielded a 1.67% decrease. Now, if we just use these averages, this is going to look pretty ugly, so bear with me. If right now, off of these prices we're currently at, ADA goes on and rallies the average month of November, the 34.24%, that actually brings us just up to about 89 cents. And then coming off of that retracement in the month of December, 1.67% down. Again, this is just using averages, guys, so don't shoot the messenger, right? That puts us somewhere around 87.5 cents, 88 cents, all right? Now, obviously, that would be a very ugly close to the year. That would not be fun for anybody. I mean, granted, that it still is up significantly from where we're at currently. But the problem is we actually have a lot of exciting big ticket things taking place here at the end of the year, kind of similar to what we saw back in 2024, but louder. If you guys remember in 2024, that was when we first started hearing about new crypto embrace from the current administration. We were talking about SEC overhaul. We were talking about embrace of US-based assets. And that's actually what allowed ADA and several others to do incredibly well, especially during the month of November. Now we're getting to a point where that is very similar, but it's a little more widespread. It's less US focused, if that makes sense. We did just see obviously an HBAR ETF listing, which obviously got HBAR all jazzed up. XRP has still been doing pretty darn well, showing some good conviction there. We're still waiting for Algo to kind of catch back up. Algo's been kind of hanging around doing a similar thing to what ADA's been doing, and actually XLM has been doing kind of something similar here as well. Now that being said, where we're at in terms of ADA is a time where we have a lot of exciting things coming down the pipeline. Again, potential spot ETF approvals, US-based crypto embrace, if that decides to be a thing again. Obviously, Cardano is a blockchain that's getting looked at in a big way there. Now, the one thing I will mention is that we still have a lot of launches that are coming with the Cardano ecosystem. We have Ouroboros, Laos, we have Midnight. Now, where I have just a little bit of pause is some of those launches haven't been historically great to us. In fact, looking back at last market cycle in 2021, if you guys remember, at our peak in August of 2021, that was when we had a major launch for the Cardano ecosystem. Unfortunately, it became a sell the news event, and we weren't able to rally it back up into November and see the exciting euphoric highs of many other assets. I'm not saying $3 ADA wasn't euphoric, but our cycle growth was actually somewhat stunted because of that, right? Now, there are a lot of wild cards here still in 2025. I almost forgot what year we're at. The questions are we going to see some type of adoption this year? Are we really truly going to get some of these trade deals done? Will the government shutdown finally be over? Are we going to see some more rate cuts? Now, the good news is that there are certain signs that are pointing towards a rally. And we've talked about this before. In terms of weekly stochastic RSI, first of all, we're very close to a bullish flip taking place there. On several other charts, we are seeing that happen already. In terms of the structure, we're actually printing a very similar formation to what we did back here in June, July of this year, right before ADA went on a rally. So that's a very promising sign. At the same time, we're seeing liquidity around the crypto market actually expanding. So we're seeing new capital being injected into the market instead of being pulled out of the market, which is a very promising sign for the remainder of this year. Now here's the thing. The problem is you could see such a wide array of things, right? If we see ADA run, 215% and then retrace 20% like we did in last year, I mean, you could be talking about ADA being, all the way up here around $2 or so, or even above $2. Again, the range is still so wide, and there are so many wild cards. It's hard to put a specific number on what ADA can do. But what you need to know is there are enough positive things going on right now that could potentially yield very positive, exciting results. I want to remind everybody, exchange supply has dropped significantly from where it was at earlier this year. I think we had last looked and it was like 2.5 billion ADA has been removed since late 2024 alone. And it's just continued to grow and grow and grow. So that we're right where we need to be. ADA's on a fundamental level, still looking very strong. It doesn't mean we can't see red. It doesn't mean we won't see potential downside, but it still seems like right now we're prepped for still the remainder of this year being very positive. If I had to put a number on it, I would say ADA's probably somewhere in that $1.50 to $2 range to close the year. And again, I'm not saying that that's the top or anything like that. I still think we're running well into 2026. That's what kind of everything's looking like right now. But I will say this, we're set up for, it seems like some pretty exciting moves. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below. Where do you think ADA is going to end the year? Do you think we're going to see what we've seen historically on average? Or is this more similar to what we've seen in this market cycle alone? But have a great day. Show your love below. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.